When I was a little boy, sometimes my mother took me to the market near my house. We just take a walk for about 10 minutes to go to that market. The sellers comes from various places, bring so many different community, and the buyers also come from various places. They were meeting here together at a place called traditional market. I like watching the transaction activity between those seller and buyer. It is very unique for me. The unique thing of transaction between seller and buyer at traditional market is when doing a negotiation to get the cheaper price from the starting price before that decided by the seller. I remember one trick to win this step from my mother. Win for buyer, it means that we get the cheaper price as we want it. First, my mother asks for the price to the seller and the seller gives the starting price. My mother asks for the lower price, and at this step, usually the seller will not give a lower price and keep at the starting price. The transactions can become like a high negotiation, because I can see the emotion for both my mother and the seller. I heard from their voice intonation. Sometimes there is a joke during that bargaining process. The next steps for me, it is look like the ultimate strategy from my mother. My mother asks the lower price for the last time, and if there is no deal at the moment, then my mother will slowly walk away from that seller. And amazing, in just a few seconds, the seller calling back my mother and deal with the lower price that my mother wanted. And now, when I grow up, there is another market that called a supermarket. The supermarket is different. Here at the supermarket, there is no price negotiation like my mother did before. So I cannot see the art of communication between seller and buyer like the traditional market. All prices were displayed clearly in text. All the entire commodity was already displayed, and I just take what I need. Of course, I must agree with the price, no negotiation. I finished my transaction at the supermarket by paying at the cashiers, just as simple as that. A little bit of communication sometimes happen here at the cashiers. Sometimes the cashiers ask me for a kind of member card so that I can get a point for some bonus. And there is another form of market, a digital market. It brings me to a new sensation of being a buyer. Here, the real place of traditional market and the supermarket was changed into virtual form. Just a flat monitor to doing transaction. With digital market, no need to walk to find items that I want. Just stay at home and use the internet connection, and then the market appears in front of me. By digital market, I can get the item I want, although I never meet the seller, but still make a negotiation by system, which means it is possible to make communication between buyer and seller. Most of them are done in text format. From three different markets, I feel that there is a change of communication between buyer and seller. The traditional market, where seller and buyer meet at the same place, give an impression for me as a social beings which need to meet and communicate to each other. I mean, here is a direct communication, face to face, so that I can interpret the expressions. By knowing the real expressions, I believe it can grow the empathy or more to each other.